Hey, welcome to Growth Minded. I'm Ed Hayes. It's Growth Minded. No more empty dreams. We define them. Effort and belief. Sustain us when we're grinding. Life is limitless, so come on, let's go flying. And we're trying again and again, bring us hope. We have a resiliency, no time to mope. We're calm under pressure, so we float. We believe in continuous learning and infinite growth. Again, welcome to Growth Minded. I'm Ed Hayes. My mission for Growth Minded is to help leaders develop a growth mindset. It's important developing a growth mindset as this cultivates a habit of gratitude, which reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. It creates a love of learning about other people, which will expand your circle of influence and lead to new opportunities. Finally, it builds confidence in yourself, leading to greater motivation and growth in multiple areas of your life. Sound interested? Hit that subscribe button and join the Growth Minded community for weekly content. We're available on Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Anchor. If there's another way you want me to send this message out, let me know. Happy to do so. So today's episode is called Growth Minded. Become a champion in multiple areas of your life. So during this episode, I'll speak on the results that I've gotten from developing a growth mindset over the last 2 years, how I improved my attitude, how this correlates to learning and growing, and then finally, from a high-level overview, the direction that I want to take growth minded over the next few months. So, yeah, with that said, we have a episode chock full of great content. Looking forward to reflecting on my journey a little bit and sharing again how I can help leaders develop a growth mindset and the benefits that come along with it. So first, offhand, the growth mindset philosophy, some may not be familiar with it, but it's a belief that a person's ability and intelligence can be developed through practice, perseverance, dedication, and motivation. So when I'm hitting that hook in the beginning of the episode, when I'm saying, life is limitless, let's go flying, we believe in continuous learning and growing. That's basically the philosophy of a growth mindset. It's having a deep belief in yourself and thinking that over time, my efforts will pay off, my efforts will be rewarded with practice, perseverance, dedication, and motivation. If I have a focus in my life that I'm trying to improve on, over time, it'll improve. So I first learned about this growth mindset philosophy 2 years ago. I started reading a book called Mind Shift by Dr. Barbara Oakley. She introduced me to the concept of a growth mindset. And from there, I've just been trying to grow. I've been trying to develop and grow in different areas of my life. And I have seen the benefits that come along with it, including less stress, anxiety, and depression. I feel pretty much calm throughout the course of a day, throughout the course of a week, pretty resilient. I've seen a lot over the last few years. I've lived in 4 different states. I've had 4 different bosses and 4 different jobs. So there's been a lot of change that I've seen over the last few years. I've seen colleagues, friends, and family struggle with stress, depression, and anxiety. And even over the last few months during COVID, I've been able to sustain a positive attitude and continuing to be interested in learning. And now I'm interested in sharing this knowledge and starting to help leaders grow their growth mindset. So a little bit more on the results, my personal results from developing a growth mindset. Again, this started back in 2018 when I started reading Mind Shift. And at the time, I was working 40 hours a week for a co-op in Massachusetts. I had two courses on my plate as well. And on top of that, I was reading a book. So there was a lot of there's a lot of things on my plate, and I needed to learn how to basically become more efficient with my time, and in order to, succeed and grow in some of those goals that I had for myself. So the first thing that I started to do was take a take a step back and say, where is a lot of my time going, and what can I do to basically save some time for myself? So first area I noticed was that I was investing a lot of time on my phone, like screen time on my iPhone. So I noticed this was 2 years ago that my screen time was about 4 hours a day. And if I were to, try to do these things like classes and work and reading, there just wasn't enough time in the day. So I had to cut back on a few things like social media for a while, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I cut back on all that, less time with fantasy football, less time playing video games, in order to, meet some of those things that I needed to do at the time. So over time, incrementally, we fast forward to 2020, I reduced my phone screen time from 4 hours a day to 1 hour a day. So if we do the math, this translates to about 1,000 hours a year. And you take 1,000 hours, you divide it by 24 hours in a day, it's about 45 extra days that comes from just cutting back your screen time by 3 hours a day. So I think that was the first key step that I took towards developing a growth mindset. With this additional time, 45 days from cutting back your screen time, you have 45 days worth of time that you can invest into things that that you like. And for me, it was reading. So I started investing more time into reading. That's when I started taking a look at Mindshift and a few other great books that I'll touch on, throughout this podcast, throughout Growth Minded. So I cut back on my screen time, I started reading, and that's when things started to click over time. It wasn't an overnight thing, but it was over time. So back in 2018, I read 2 books for the year. In 2019, I read 8 books for the year. So I read 4 times more books the next year with some of these strategies in place. And then finally, as 2020 is coming to an end, 2021 is beginning, I read 16 books in the year. So this is about 8 times more productivity from 2018 to 2020. And it's things that I like to do. It's not that I like to read, and I see the benefits of reading because you learn something practical and you can apply it even the next day into your life. So that's why during some of this content that I'll be posting, there's going to be a lot of practical things that you can use throughout the course of your day that can help you become a champion in multiple areas of your life. So stay tuned to that. That will be on the way. So I'm just going to keep going about the results of developing a growth mindset. In terms of music, back in 2018, I had about 100 songs on my playlist. And jump forward a few years, here we are in 2020, I have 1,300 songs on my playlist. So I basically have 10 times more songs than I did 2 years ago. And the breadth of my music knowledge really developed too. So it's not just the productivity in reading, it's things that you're passionate about. For me, it's music, and basically the breadth of my knowledge has really expanded. Spotify considers me to be a generalist with my music, and I'd agree. Like I grew up with we had some old school bands like the Allman Brothers, Bruce Springsteen. I'm coming out of New Jersey, so if anyone's listening out of Massachusetts, I've gotten some flack for being a Bruce Springsteen fan, but I'm sticking to it. And you know, even in high school, my brother got me into rap and hip hop, and those have just continued to expand and grow, almost like different seeds in genres that I've planted over the years. And it's been great to see how artists have grown, and in the same time their music has changed, and their stories and their life experiences change. And at the same time, I could say I feel like I've grown too with them, and um, at my own pace. So music has been another area that has seen growth from developing a growth mindset. For those interested in physical well-being, there'll be plenty of great content in store. From my point of view, I like to run. So back in 2018, I ran about 18 miles a month. So we fast forward again to 2020, I can run 55 miles a month. So this is 3 times more productive for your physical health, your physical fitness as well. So the growth mindset really touches every aspect of your life, and that's why I think it's so important to start speaking on it and share my story and start sharing the stories of others who are growing in different areas of their lives. So I touched on the physical piece as well financially. I remember during my first co-op, my first internship, I didn't know how to budget. So by the time the 6 months were up, I'm taking a look at my bank account, and I had to do a double check. Like, I didn't know exactly where all my money went. Like, it incrementally grew, but knowing, the amount, I was like, oh, I definitely could have saved some more. So that's something that, I learned from. And going into my second co-op, my second internship, I definitely created a budget. And over the last 80 weeks, I've stuck to this budget. I don't hit the weekly goal every week, but I think it's important to have some structure in place. It will lead to financial independence, and financial independence, savviness, being intentional with your investments. This will help you move out of your parents' house. If you're in your 20s like me, this will help you invest your time and your money into passive sources of income. This will basically help you be savvier on the spending side and on the investment side too. So another area that the mind of philosophy affects is your financials. Even spiritually, this is something relatively new that I only started this year. I hadn't meditated before, about 0 hours out of the year in 2018, 0 hours in 2019. But over the last few months, I'd say about an hour a week. So, 10 minutes a day, I'll I'll spend meditating. And this helps kind of clear my head and helps me, feel connected to the world around me, the universe. Um, so that ties into feeling more peaceful and content, less stress, anxiety, and depression. I feel like I'm someone who has high ambition and high motivation, and I'm thankful that I have this habit of meditation because, even though my wheels are churning in my head, having the ability to stop and think about nothing in particular, it helps me stay present when I'm with family and with friends, helps me stay focused on some of the bigger pictures of life. So that would be another aspect that the growth-minded philosophy can impact your spiritual well-being. And to round this out, for those of you interested in a side hustle, this is something that the growth-minded philosophy can help you eventually get there. So 2018, 2019, I didn't invest too much time in a side hustle. Like I said, reading, yes. But now, my side hustle, the things that I like to do on my free time is invest time into growth-minded, building this podcast, building this platform, speaking with interesting people. So I would say, maybe 4 hours a week. I'll invest into the side hustle now too. And speaking with a few people, a few guests that I have later on shows, I'm glad I'm doing it because there are people, everyone has their own point of views and perspectives. And, everyone, it seems like a lot of folks that I've talked to in different states that I've been in and different jobs that I've worked in, seems like, everyone wants to feel like they have a purpose, everyone wants to feel connected, and everyone wants to grow. So with that said, like the growth-minded goal is to improve your attitude, is to help you learn and help you learn for yourself too, like strategies that you can take that will help you learn And then finally, strategies that can help you grow in different areas of your life. So more on kind of the direction of growth minded a little bit later on. So I basically touched on the results of developing a growth mindset. I think the highlight is that basically it's a way to save time and reinvest time into yourself. Like I started off with the screen time example, like just cutting back 3 hours a day from your phone time translates to 45 days a year that you can reinvest back into yourself and basically become a better version of yourself. So I'll transition a bit on how I developed the growth mindset. So those are basically the results. The way that it happened is through daily gratitude. Over the last 2 years, over the last 2+ years, I've read things about, keystone habits. If you develop one keystone habit, you can have a halo effect and it'll be easier for you to create healthy habits. So for me, it's daily gratitude. Before I work, before I start a project, at the beginning of each day, I'll try to find 5 things that I'm grateful for, no matter what the day or what the month has brought me. And this has helped me build resiliency, build perseverance, dedication, and motivation. And I feel less fatigued and I feel like I have a better resiliency and a bounce back when something doesn't go my way. But it's been this daily keystone habit of daily gratitude, thinking of 5 good things each day from the day before that resonated. So gratitude helps me to appreciate life and the time that we have on earth, I should say. And with this time, I know it's precious, so I want to learn. I want to start learning. I want to start sharing what I'm learning, and I want to continue to grow in different areas of my life. But gratitude has been the keystone habit. Like I said, for over 800 days, it's been something that I've been doing. And I really think that's what has helped me get this far in life. Like I said, I've seen colleagues, friends, and family suffer with stress, anxiety, depression, and it's something that you wouldn't have thought growing up. People who are older than you, peers, and even mentors that I've met along the way, you would have thought, oh, wow, these, they have it figured out. But it's something that I'm learning. It's something universal. I think mental health is a universal concept, and it's something that I think everyone should get behind on. So that's why I think growth minded can help us become more peaceful and more content, more productive, more motivated, and have a greater purpose in our lives as we continue to pay it forward and help others grow in their lives as well. So that's how I improve my attitude is through daily gratitude. And to hit on the final piece of the show, the direction of growth minded, I'm excited to see what the next few months will have in store. This being the first episode, I'm glad I stuck to it. And I have to shout out my friend Shaquille. We talked over the summer, and he's like, "How's your podcast going?" We'd have some great conversations when we were working together. And I told him, "No, I haven't really started on it." So he was a great catalyst for me during this time. He created the logo for the show, so I have to shout out Shaquille just for being a great friend and someone who's helped me grow over this time as well. So the direction that I want to take Growth Mind is to have free content weekly or on a regular basis. So this would include book reviews, like I mentioned, tips and tricks. I can share with you how I helped to reduce some of my screen time if that's what you're interested in. I could share ways that I can improve your focus with different techniques and a few interesting things that I've read along the way, as well as interviews with peers and with mentors to bring in another point of view and see how folks millennials, people who are just starting in the workforce, finishing high school, people in their 20s, like how do you guys continue to have a great attitude? Who inspires you? What are some of the dreams that you have? So that's some of the free content. I'm also building a free syllabus, and I'm looking for a few growth-minded leads to try out this growth-minded program and see how this impacts their attitude, their love of learning, and their growth. See how it develops them. And along the way, it would be great to have like testimonials and check-ins to say, here's what I'm thinking so far of practicing gratitude for the last few weeks. Here's how it's had an impact. So basically, it'd be a baseline of here's where I'm at, 0 to 10. Here's how I'm feeling. A few weeks into the program, here's how I'm feeling now, whether it's better or worse. And this will be a work in progress. I'm interested to see, the effects of daily gratitude reading and, applying what you're reading into different areas of your life have on you. So if you're interested in becoming a growth-minded lead, definitely let me know. I'd appreciate it. The third piece of growth-minded is having a community of people to reach out to and support each other. So I'm building a LinkedIn and Facebook group with growth-minded leaders for people interested in a change of pace, whether it's working or a new interest or hobby. I think this community will be a great platform to share ideas. Feel free to post, great ideas, things about your attitude, things that you're learning, ways that you're growing with our group, and it'll be a great way to stay engaged and stay sharp. And it's honestly a great networking place as well. I think most of the folks in this group will have a great attitude, who want to share their knowledge, and will want to see everyone succeed as well. So one last thing is a goal later on in 2021 is to start having some exclusive content with coaches in different areas of life, whether it's a financial coach, professional development coach, a mental health coach, people that we can lean on and ask their advice and their opinions in an engaging event. So stay tuned on that. That's a work in progress. But those are the ways that I'd like to see Growth Minded develop over the next few months. Free content, some testimonials from the Growth Minded program, an active discussion in our Facebook and LinkedIn groups, and then down the line some exclusive events with some of the best people in the business. So I spoke on the results of developing growth mindset, how I improved my attitude, the direction of growth minded, and I hope you enjoyed the first episode. I'll lead you out on basically on the growth minded theme here, and I hope to hear back from you next Tuesday. Like I said, please share this message with other people in your network. Subscribe. We have different ways of following, whether it's Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, we should have it. And I'd appreciate your feedback too. So I'm Ed Hayes. This is Growth Minded. Stay tuned for more great content over the next few weeks. It's Growth Minded. No more empty dreams, we define them. Effort and belief sustain us when we're grinding. Life is limitless, so come on, let's go flying. We're trying, again and again, bringing us hope. We have a resiliency, no time to mope. We're calm under pressure, so we float. We believe in continuous learning and infinite growth. Thanks guys, I'll talk to you next time. This is Growth Minded.